Yep, so let's get started. First question is, what camera do you recommend? A lot of people sent this question, and specifically they're asking, what is the best camera if your budget is, let's say, just about $100 or $150?
Excellent question. Uh, there are a number of really cool options. Now, the trouble, before I give you the options, the one thing you need to know, there, especially at the lower prices, there are no perfect options. There's always going to be some sort of a trade-off, either with video quality or with sound quality or with something else, with features. So that's just the first thing to keep in mind when you're looking at the lower range cameras. But in saying that, there are some really, really cool cameras that you can use for creating your... the first one that is my number one recommendation is the Flip Ultra HD camera. Now, the reason why I like that camera is because obviously the video image quality is fantastic, and it's very, very easy to use. It's just so simple. It doesn't have many features, but that's why I like it. It's just one big red button you press and it records. Another reason that I love it is that it has a replaceable AA-sized battery pack. So the battery pack that comes with it are two AA battery sized, it's a battery in it, and they're rechargeable. But what's cool about that is that if you're recording, say, away from your computer sometime and you run out of power, you can just replace them very easily with two AA batteries again. And whereas with some of the other cameras, you don't have such an easy option. Okay, so that's the first thing. The drawback with the Flip Ultra HD and many other cameras similar to that is that the sound is not always that great, especially if you're further away from the camera. But there is a fix to that, and I can talk about that later if you want me to.
Yes, please.
The next camera. Okay, well let's go through the camera options first. The next camera that I recommend is the Kodak ZI-8, and it's another brilliant little camera, very similar to the Flip. It's got a few more features. The added advantage that the Kodak has is that it has an external mic jack that you can plug a microphone into. So that's pretty cool. So it means you can record some pretty good sound on the Kodak. Now, the reason why I don't like the Kodak, which is a big thing for me because I move around a lot, is that it has it has one of those special rechargeable batteries in it. So it's not a standard sized rechargeable battery. I know that you can replace it, but it costs a lot of money to get an extra copy of that battery. So that's an issue for me. But other than that, it's a great little camera. It records on an SD card and very easy to get it onto your computer. So that's my number 2 recommendation for cameras at that. So number 3 recommendation is the Vado by Creative. That's VADO. And once again, very similar. The video quality is not as good. It does, if I remember right, it does have an external microphone jack, but it's the camera itself is not as good as the other two. Also only has a rechargeable battery as opposed to the AA-sized battery pack that the Flip has. Now, so those are my 3, I guess, main recommendations. That all 3 of them are great cameras. They all will do the job fantastically, and they all run about $150 or run about there. Now, with the Flip Ultra HD camera, the way to solve the audio problem, if that's an issue for you, is to simply record the audio separately. And what I often do is I record with, I've purchased a little voice recorder, simple Sony voice recorder. It's about $100, and you can plug a lapel microphone into that, and so you end up recording the voice, the sound separately on this little voice recorder. And then when it comes to the editing stage, all you do is you match up the audio from the camera and the audio from the voice recorder, and then you delete or turn off the audio from the camera, and then you're only left with voice recorder, which gives you excellent quality audio. So with that, you get the excellent quality video from the Flip camera plus the excellent quality audio from the voice recorder. And of course, the more money you spend on the voice recorder, the better sound you're going to get. So that's it.
Any specific voice recorder you recommend that's not too expensive?
Sure, let me just see if I've got it. Here it is. The one that I have, and this took me quite a bit of time to find this one because you need to find one that can that you can easily get the files onto your computer again. And so I recommend one that has a USB connection in it so that you can easily record the audio on it. Once you're done, you just plug it into a USB port and get the files onto your computer. The one that I have is a Sony IC recorder, and the model name is ICD-UX7IF. Sorry, 71F. So ICD-UX71F. That's the model number for this one. But look, I'm sure there'll be other ones very similar to that. This one is about $100, but you may be able to get ones that are even cheaper that do a very similar job.
Yeah.
The other thing to look out for is that it does have an external microphone jack so that you can plug a little microphone into it very easily. And you know, if you're
Gideon,
very
sorry.
serious about the sound, if you're very serious about the sound, there's another one I'd recommend, but it's quite expensive. It's about $500 to $600, and that's a voice recorder. It's a professional voice recorder from Eddie Roll by Roland. Great little voice
Oh.
recorder. That's what I use for most of my videos. But the Sony one does a pretty good job as well.
And isn't it a big headache to match the audio with the video when you're editing it?
No, not at all. I mean, not for me anyway. If you're using the right software, it's a very simple process. All you need to do
Mm.
before you as you do your recording is once you've pressed record on your voice recorder and your camera, is to simply clap with your hands like three or five times. And what that does is it creates a nice spike in the waveform for the sound. And then when you do your editing, you just match up those spikes, and that's pretty much it. Then you've got the audio matched up. Yes, it is a little bit extra work, but from a quality point of view for your videos, you can get a much better result. But as I say, it's optional. If you're just getting started with this, you don't need the extra voice recorder.
Yeah.
And if you get the Kodak, then of course it's not an issue at all. And so if you're just getting started, I probably wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you want to take it to the next level and to increase the sound, then that could be a nice extra step.
Cool. Very simple solution. So, there was another related question. The cameras that you recommended, Gideon, are those all compatible with Mac computers?
Yes, I've tested all of them, and they all work on Macintosh and assuming PC as well. I've got a PC, but I'd be very surprised if it doesn't work on a PC because that's normally the main market.
Right. The software that comes with the cameras usually are PC. Let's go to the next question. Hey guys, I hope you're taking notes, okay? Question two, how do you set up your lighting? This is from Kevin Lockett in Akron, Ohio.
Great question. Okay, lighting is very important for the quality of your video, especially if you have the cheaper